The girl had just graduated from nursing school and started working at a new hospital. Although she loved her job as a nurse, she had a hard time getting along with the people she worked with. They were mostly young doctors who had just graduated from medical school. The problem was that they liked to play pranks on each other. It was hard for her to live with them in the room that was next to the hospital because they were noisy until very late at night. The nurse worked long hours and she needed sleep. Whenever she complained about their behavior, the mischievous doctors would only laugh in her face and tell her to shut her fat mouth. The nurse eventually reported the young doctor's behavior to the hospital manager, and they all got into various problems. The doctors began to really hate the nurse and spent all day devising a plan to get back at her. Finally, one of the doctors came up with a really cruel joke on how they could prank the young nurse, and the others happily agreed to help. One night they snuck into the morgue, located in the basement of the hospital, and sawed off the arm of one of the corpses. Then they broke into the nurse's room and put the sawed-off arm under her bedding. They put it at the bottom of the bed so that when she lay down, her feet would rest on the arm. Chuckling, they stood in the hallway waiting for the young nurse to come to go to bed. When the girl went to the bedroom, the doctors had to hold back their laughter. The nurse was suspicious of their behavior, but too tired to figure out what was wrong. She entered the room and closed the door behind her. The men in the hallway waited impatiently for the nurse to find the sawed-off arm in her bed. But nothing happened. No one yelled or swore. Everything was quiet. After a while, the doctors got tired of waiting and started to go to bed. They assumed they had stuck their hand in too far and the nurse hadn't fumbled for it. The next morning, when they woke up, the doctors went to check on the nurse. Getting no answer when they knocked on the door, they turned the doorknob and went inside. The room was completely empty. The doctors searched the nurse's bedroom, and when they opened her closet, a horrible sight was revealed to them. The nurse, curled up, was sitting in the corner of the closet. Her hair had turned completely gray. Her eyes rolled back in a way that made it look like she had completely lost her mind. Her face had aged about 20 years, but worst of all, she was chewing on a decaying hand.